This video brought to you by Fabulous, an app that helps you build healthy habits and complete your goals. Right now, 25% off. Also, I need your help to complete a very important New Year's resolution, so please stick around till the end.
Is this a deviant, sir?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful creature.
What? This? No, it's hideous.
Marvel's Eternals made history recently by not only becoming the lowest grossing MCU theater release in a decade, but also the lowest rated MCU release of all time, all of which adds objective validity to the statement that it's a terrible Marvel movie. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the film itself is terrible or that you can't enjoy it. I don't want to get too much into personal opinions because I'd rather not get roasted, but I personally did enjoy Eternals much more than expected. There's a lot of positives here. It's a fantastic visual experience, not only due to its amazing, consistently changing aesthetics, but also because the CGI action, which weirdly enough works pretty well. What they do with Superman is cool, what they do with Flash is cool, and I love the way they handle Cell from Dragon Ball Z, in that he starts out as this dumb CGI monstrosity, but then absorbs more and more powers to evolve toward being this perfect specimen that hunts the godlike heroes down one by one. And I actually was really bummed out when the whole thing was suddenly tossed aside in favor of more the same save the whole world BS.
I too have the ability to regenerate my body. I am the best of every race, all neatly rolled into one super being.
Overall, it was pretty refreshing to see an MCU entry from filmmakers who so clearly would much rather be making a film for DC.
That's Superman! Dad, that's Superman!
Oh, valet. Like Alfred in Batman.
I call you Clark? Is that where you go by now? Because, you know.
But specifically as a Marvel movie, as a big tentpole blockbuster aimed at the most general audiences, Eternals does make a few destructive choices that ensured it was always gonna fail. Because, you know, it's a Marvel movie featuring like 10 new heroes nobody knows or cares about. It has no goals and thus no sense of progression. It has no stakes and thus isn't easy to invest in. And it also has no urgency and thus can feel quite sluggish. All of which makes it more like a slow burn indie character drama, which for the usual Marvel masses like Timmy 10-year-old is a big no-no. As of today, what I thought would be useful and interesting to do is to look deeper into these cornerstones of big blood-driven blockbusters. Goal, stakes, urgency, and see what happens when you exclude them. I've talked about this topic in a positive sense before, but now let's look at the negative side. Let's see how to make a terrible Marvel movie. The first problem with Eternals is that it's not driven by goals, which destroys a sense of progress and makes the whole thing feel kinda aimless. One half of this is the way we continuously pause the main story in order to do separate character exploration, which you can notice starting from the beginning. Essentially, our immortal space god hero Cersei is living a normal human life with normal human Jon Snow when they suddenly get attacked by an evil space alien, which is crazy because they were defeated thousands of years ago, which then sends Cersei on a journey with her old friends to find all the other space gods to defeat the aliens.
Superman! That's Superman!
That on the surface is our main goal, but as we start progressing toward completing it, watch how it plays. We head out to find... oh wait, pause that, because we first go back in time for character stuff that in no way advances that mission in the present. We get to see how the space gods have acclimated to living on Earth, how they get along with each other, how they care about each other, what kind of a significant role they play in the evolution of the human race.
I present to you the plow. Because that's what it does. Plows dirt.
I met another group of settlers who are building their homes.
Okay, unpause, because in the present it turns out that the aliens have killed one of the other space gods and apparently absorbed her powers.
The deviant that attacked us in London killed Ajax and absorbed her powers.
Deviants have never done that in the past.
It healed itself just like Ajax.
That proves the mission to be crucial. We really gotta hurry up and find our team, so... oh, pause that, because we now go back in time again to explore the darker side of being a space god living on Earth. We get to see how the heroes are bummed out about humans not being so great with evolution. We get to see how they disagree on whether or not to interfere and then go their separate ways.
I want you to go out there and live a life for yourselves. Find your own purpose.
Okay, unpause, cause now we finally find a member of our team and get him to join the mission. And then we even find a couple more. Now we're making progress. Oh, pause again, cause now we're once more just hanging out to explore character stuff and get backstory information, which again in no way directly advances our current external journey. It's not like we get any crucial clues as to how to actually find or defeat the aliens or anything, but just...
Our universe is a constant exchange of energy. Celestial seeds into host planets across the universe. This is your true home. Your memories are erased and I first sent the deviants to exterminate them. So intelligent life built and programmed you, Eternals. The planet Earth was chosen to host the celestial Tiamat.
Today, Junior?
Unpause to go meet the next member, pause to hang around some more. Unpause to finally fight the aliens, pause to for some reason just let the main alien go and instead hang around some more.
I thought about taking over the mind of every human on this planet.
Unpause, pause, unpause, pause, unpause, pause. I understand the value of character exploration, but in these big tentpole blockbusters you have to be able to do it while also progressing the main journey. Infinity War always keeps the characters moving to their next destination even when it explores them and their relationships.
Vormir! The stone is on Vormir.
Thanos' trip to sacrifice Gamora tells us a lot about them, but it also gets him to the next MacGuffin. Character flashbacks are fine,
Preferably still about the main journey.
but when they keep happening for 10 plus minutes at a time, the general audience kind of forgets the main reason they're watching the movie in the first place. You're not in-game, you haven't earned the right to have characters just hang out without active purpose. You need an external direction to always move toward.
You are allowed to live a life, you know. Go tell Cersei how you feel.
The other half of this is that even though we technically do have a main goal, it's not a real tangible thing with a visible finish line. Like when the movie establishes that we need to assemble the team to stop the aliens, it's not clear in practice what that means. Why do we need to gather the team? What's gonna happen when we do? How does that help us stop the aliens? How exactly are we even gonna stop the aliens? Do we just kill them one by one, or is something else required? It's not like in the Tomorrow War where it's made clear that to destroy the aliens you need to capture the queen.
So the females survive the toxin.
Her physiology is the key to their extinction.
It's more like, well, there's different kinds of aliens now, so I guess let's put the band back together and see what happens.
Let's go to Ajax first. She'll know what to do.
The deviants are back. We don't know how many there are. You need to come with us.
Okay. And the reason this lack of a clear ultimate destination is an issue is because you can't have a sense of progression without the contextual knowledge of what and where it is you're progressing toward. The finish line can seem closer only if you know how far it is. Which I guess here doesn't matter anyway because the whole alien thing is suddenly then made redundant in favor of whatever save the whole world stuff.
We have to stop the emergence.
Maybe put it to sleep.
Imagine the Avengers were hunting the Infinity Stones for an hour only to then realize they don't actually matter.
What?
Like at least continue the alien absorption thing as the way to defeat this new opponent. That's how the heroes can ultimately combine their powers. Make everything you've done matter. Cause a lot of general moviegoers aren't gonna like it when you waste their time. And so, to avoid this problem, identify a clearly tangible end goal and then have each and every scene progress toward it. The second problem here is the lack of stakes, which ruins emotional investment because there's no real reason to feel anything, not in terms of who we're fighting with, or against, or for. The first side of this is who we're fighting with, meaning the heroes, who are so overpowered that it's impossible to invest in their safety. From the very beginning, they're kicking ass, they're taking names, they're exactly as strong as you'd expect eternal space gods to be. Doesn't even matter who they are. The brain guy is strong enough to take on Superman, no problem. The mind control guy is basically like John Wick. Even with the weaker heroes, they're always surrounded by the strong ones to the point where there's never a real dreadful sense that they might actually lose. And when that happens, it only feels forced, because why are these guys just happening to be so conveniently far away from others? Why doesn't Superman just fly over there?
How did you do that?
I don't know.
But more importantly, for the most part, the heroes have no clearly consistent vulnerable side. Their ability to get hurt seems to shift and change based on what the movie in the moment needs it to be. One moment they can no problem survive being lasered down from the sky, and the next moment they get knocked out by a rock. Like, it's difficult to fear for someone when you don't understand them enough to know what it is you need to fear.
Wait. Hey, no. Wait.
Second side is who we're fighting against, meaning the enemies, who are mostly made to seem so ineffective that I swear I could take them on with my hockey stick. From the very beginning, the aliens just get bullied. They get beat up in the prologue without issues. They achieve nothing in their first attack in the present. I mean, it takes a full 80 minutes until Cell finally gets his first big W when he absorbs one space god's powers and evolves into his next form. And even though from here on out the enemy side does improve with a new kryptonite weapon, it's a bit too late now because first impressions are everything. The monsters in A Quiet Place seem dangerous because they immediately take away something valuable. And that's what you should have done here as well. Open the movie with the scene of Cell killing the first space god to absorb her powers. Don't yet reveal the true twist of who was actually behind it, but show it in a way that Cell seems responsible. Now you have an enemy that the audience can take seriously right away. Now the threats aren't exclusive to the third act. Also, you know how the fallen angels seem dangerous because of their specificity, that if you make a sound, they kill you? Well, for the longest time, there's no specificity here. We don't know what it is that makes the aliens dangerous. They're just generic CGI monstrosities we've defeated in 1,000 other movies. Because again, if you initially just tell about that specific danger instead of showing it as a real thing, no one's gonna believe you, and everyone's already gonna know that big twist of yours is coming.
And absorbed her power.
It was a deviant.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
The third side is who we're fighting for, meaning other people, who in this movie don't exist. Like I mentioned, when we see Cell kill and evolve into a stronger form, that finally allows us to invest in the well-being of our fellow space gods. That makes the stakes be about intimate survival. Or it would if it wasn't for...
The human population of this planet has reached the required amount. It is time for the emergence to begin.
Everyone on Earth will die. Everything dies except us.
Right, so suddenly the real stakes are no longer about the survival of the space gods, but rather the whole planet, which is kinda dumb because in the context of this movie, we don't know anyone on the planet. Like, we've seen Jon Snow, but we never had time to learn to care about him because we already had to go meet the 20 other new characters. In Endgame, we didn't care about saving the world. We cared about saving Peter Parker. We cared about saving Hawkeye's family. Like, you can't just say the entire planet is at stake and then expect us to care. That's literally what Fantastic did. That's the level we're at here.
There has to be a way Tiamat can emerge without destroying the Earth.
We're not gonna let everyone on Earth die.
The matter from Earth is being converted to energy. We need to stop Victor. He's the source.
The end of one life is the beginning of another.
If this world must die, so that mine may live, so be it.
And same as in Fantastic, we don't care. So to avoid this problem, build your stakes in such a prominent way on all three fronts that the audience is compelled to emotionally invest in them and care. The third problem here is the lack of urgency, which makes things slow and thus to many audiences quite boring. What this essentially means is that there's no time-sensitive intensity in anything we're doing, as you'll notice again from the beginning. When the movie sets up that we need to assemble the team and destroy the aliens, there's no deadline for when that needs to be completed. Firstly, because the aliens aren't really doing anything since for some reason the filmmakers decided that they don't even attack humans anymore.
It was coming after us instead of humans.
And secondly, because in the flashbacks the heroes took thousands and thousands of years to destroy the aliens the first time, so clearly it's not that urgent of an issue. Which by nature then leads to a lot of scenes where characters just sit around. Like, that's basically the majority of what you'll be watching here. We go meet another hero and then kinda just hang to contemplate stuff. That is Marvel's Eternals. The reason Infinity War is such an intense roller coaster is because there's no time.
Kid, that's the wizard. Get on it. On it!
We're always rushing full speed to get the next thing done. Thanos is coming for the stones right now, and when he gets them, that's it. Whereas the reason Eternals is such a slow drag is because there's no concept of time. We can always wait around to talk a bit before heading off to the next destination. We have no idea when it's too late to do what we're trying to get done. Even toward the end, when there finally is a deadline established, with the sleeping big dude starting to wake up inside the Earth, we still have no clear perception of it time-wise.
Has reached the required amount. It is time for the emergence to begin.
You know, if I see Thanos step out of a portal with all the stones except one, I know what it means. But when I see smoke coming out of a mountain, I don't. Like, when is too late? I'm not necessarily saying urgency is as vital as goals and stakes, but I am saying it's very vital and necessary for supercharging your goals and stakes. It's how you take what you have and crank it up.
And the intensity here does rise when the big guy finally begins to visibly emerge.
Whereas if you aren't constantly pushing your characters to their highest gear, if you're again and again allowing your heroes to stop to eat and wait in a plane when they could literally fly to their destination in minutes, you're just de-escalating the whole journey.
Don't like this place.
Drake needs to think, and Cersei wants us to wait, so we wait.
You want to build excitement by setting your movie on fire. Set one massive fire across the entire story by, for example, establishing a specific, clearly perceivable endpoint that the aliens are rushing to, after which they can no longer be stopped. Set smaller fires for individual scenes and sequences by, for example, forcing the heroes to convince their friend to join up and get moving before their chance to do so closes. I mean, just watch Mission Impossible Fallout and maybe you'll figure something out. At the end of the day, of course it all comes down to your audience. If you're making a small indie character piece for super smart and sophisticated viewers like Filmento, then you might have some freedom. But when you're making a big tentpole blockbuster designed to bring in the masses like Timmy 10-year-old, you're held to a much stricter standard in terms of the plot cornerstones. Because as dumb as Timmy might be, he's got an endless amount of alternative excitement right there on his phone. And if you can't keep him hooked by making it crystal clear what we're doing, why we're doing it, and when it has to be done, you're gonna fail at your only job and lose him. Which is how you successfully become a terrible Marvel movie. As one last thing, for anyone here who's on Letterboxd, can you please go like my review of Dead Man's Chest? I think we need around 1,000 likes to make it the most liked on the site, and that way have it show up at the top when you click on the movie. That was one of the goals I gave myself for New Year's, along with other small healthy habits like taking a break from work every day to plank for a few minutes. It's a bit tough to hold on to things like that because they seem so tiny and meaningless, but I found it a lot easier with Fabulous, the #1 self-care app that helps you build better habits and achieve your goals. For anyone interested, they have a free version where you can choose small healthy tasks for yourself, and then the app makes a game out of them, which helps you remember and makes completing them more rewarding. There's also a premium version where you can select larger journeys to improve, for example, your sleeping or productivity, where the app gives you tailored daily activities to get you to that destination. It's all based on real behavioral science, so it can be a real help. And then there's also things like daily motivation coaching as well as professional exercises. So if you want to start building your ideal daily routine, you can try Fabulous for free, and they're also sponsoring a 25% discount on the premium version for the first 100 people who click the link below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the Matrix next week.
Thank you.